everyone, to remember, or as we like to call it, RMDR, the show about nostalgia for the nostalgic.
No matter your age or where you come from, everyone's got their own version of nostalgia. And that is exactly what we're going to explore here, the different types. Today, our focus, games.
But first, I want to talk a little bit about why people seem to enjoy nostalgic things. I read an article the other day that people change and often want to revisit things in the past to try to remember who they once were. As adults, we deal with stress and responsibilities, and childhood memories are generally happy. Doing things we once were as kids can help us release our inner child and give us a break once in a while, like watching a kids movie.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not healthy to get stuck in the past and yearn for things that once were. Change is an important thing in human development.
Yeah, that's such a good point. Exploring nostalgia is also a really good way of finding out about someone's upbringing. And it's also okay to have a little fun.
Yeah, I always played Uno with my dad as a kid. And every time I go back to visit him now, we still play a few games. It's great because, you can sit there in silence and relax while you're playing the game, or you could have a conversation, and either is acceptable.
Yeah, I loved game night, especially Monopoly. I used to play that for 3 hours with my sister and my cousins, and in true Monopoly style, we took it way too seriously.
And you know what? I think I'm noticing the pattern here. With both these games, you're actually sitting in the same place with more than one person at the same time. You're actually getting human interaction.
Yeah, well, I did some pretty good socializing this week when I was playing some video games at an arcade.
Ooh.
Here we are at the 1989 arcade bar and kitchen.
We're called 1989 because my favourite arcade machine, which is right behind me here, Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles, was the first machine I ever bought in my collection, and I shipped it over from the UK, and it was made in the year 1989, which is why we called this place 1989.
Why do you think that retro arcade games are making a comeback now?
I think number one is nostalgia. You're seeing a lot more era of people and filmmakers and game creators and all that kind of stuff, and social media, all going back to the old school stuff.
Feel.
Yeah.
Why do you think that it's important to keep retro arcade game scene alive, and what are the biggest challenges in keeping the cabinets running?
Moving away from nostalgia, keeping that experience alive. Because when you walk into an arcade, especially a classic arcade with classic games, it is kind of like stepping in history, which is certainly a nostalgic moment, but also it's the social aspect of that kind of gaming that I think is really important to keep alive. That's why I love the fact that we're a cafe and a bar. People who come during the day, seeing dads bring their daughters and their sons to play Street Fighter 2. Because there is something about that experience of walking up to a cabinet that was created just for that game, and then putting the money into the machine, and then playing side by side and having fun, and then going to another
It's
cabinet.
a bonding moment as well. I think.
For sure, and I think when it comes to the evening as well, when we become a bar and people are having a few drinks, that social aspect is still prevalent.
Oh yeah.
So obviously, you get emulators and you get cheap game boards and all that kind of stuff that aren't the original hardware. It's just that genuine experience that you get. And in terms of upkeep, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare.
Honestly, I like that.
The components are obviously rarer and harder to find.
And harder to fix, maybe.
Harder to fix, yeah. So that's why lots of people go, well, why aren't the arcade machines on for free play? And I'm like, well, because every single dollar that we make from the machines,
It's the upkeep, really,
goes
isn't it?
straight back into keeping them alive. Yeah.
So, Ben, I challenge you to a game.
Here we go.
How do I jump?
Just push up and you should jump.
Now, full throttle, huh? Full
I'm
throttle.
just gonna.
Oh, no, you got me.
Round one to me.
Got me.
Oh no! I know you're still going. Oh, look at this!
I mean,
celebrate
I
too soon.
Sorry we couldn't join you, Yvonne, but at least you got to make a new friend.
That's right. And it's such a great environment, to socialize, because you're with people who are like-minded, right? You share like-minded interests. And not only that, it's just a really relaxing, positive environment to just hang out and play a game. That is when you're not competing against someone.
And that's why nostalgia is just so important. It creates talking points and it helps relate you to other people because you're speaking the same cultural language. Like, I grew up watching The Simpsons and I use a lot of Simpsons references. So when I speak to people who haven't grown up watching The Simpsons, they don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no way. Amy and I actually went back in time and blew the dust off our old video game consoles this week. So today we're going to be playing some games that we loved as kids.
Like Ratchet and Clank 2! My favourite game ever. When I first played it, I was so scared of dying. I played each level so slowly and I'd like step back.
I totally get that. I mean, this is giving me anxiety just like watching. Oh, aliens!
Ah! It's got a flamethrower! It's got a flamethrower!
It's not expecting that. Most of these really old games are being remade actually. Like Crash Bandicoot that got remade for PS4. And then there's AIDS Odyssey, Monkey Island, they got remastered. Ratchet and Clank that got remade.
Ratchet and Clank, I've heard of that.
So a game that one of my friends loves to play is called Talisman, which is kind of like Dungeons and Dragons, similar vibes, and it's similar to Monopoly in that like it can take hours and hours to complete. To entice us to keep going in the game and like move forward, we would put pieces of chocolate up in different regions of the game because then you get to eat chocolate and play games, and that's all you need in life.
For our last game in our game session, let's play for Xerox.
Actually, Amy, it's F0X.
Shut up.
Just cut it off.
I like for Xerox.
Just move on.
Has more pizzazz. Lift off, bitch. I mean, bitch. Woo! What an ending.
I mean, you kind of like crashed and burned, but like, did we all? This is a metaphor for our lives. It's so much fun getting to play games and seeing the advances in technology and artistic style and game mechanics.
I actually used to make my little sister be the second-rate characters in all the games. Like, she'd have to be Donald Duck and Mickey Mouse and, like, Tails and Sonic.
Oh, the sibling over here showcasing her authority, I see.
But yeah, then my sister grew bigger and stronger and taller than me and could beat me up. So obviously then she got to choose the characters.
Makes sense. Well, that brings us to the end of the show. But I hope everyone out there finds the time to release their inner child and play some old board games or something with people.
Smell you later.
Oh my gosh, stop referencing The Simpsons.
Oh, come on.
Bye.